22 down, 3 to go. Like, literally only 3. Like, we literally have, what? This, the final exam, and the encounter episode that leads into Season 3. Yep. So this is technically the penultimate episode, because this is the episode where we get all the rest of the remaining battles of the final exams arc. So, while it may not be the last episode of the saga, this is pretty much the penultimate one. So, let's not waste any more time and dive right in, shall we? Because it's another excellent episode. What's up, what's happening, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Mr. Station, your host for anything and everything animation, including pro heroes fighting for the Fate world, as well as TV and movies. I'm your host, Justice Ball. Welcome back to Academia April 2, Season 2, Episode 23, aka Episode 36 of My Hero Academia, titled Stripping the Varnish. This is everyone else's battles except for Deku and Bakugo versus All Might, which is the final battle of this entire arc. So, this is the one that comes right before it, and we're going to see all the other battles remaining in the arc. So, this shouldn't take too long to get through because a lot of them are pretty straightforward. So, it picks up where we left off, where Aoyama asks Ochiko if she likes Midoriya, embarrassing her enough to the point where she lets go of the rail that they're both clinging to. She flies towards 13, which forces the pro to halt her quirk so it doesn't kill her on accident. As soon as this happens, Ochiko then remembers her gunhead training and uses martial arts to pin down the hero. Then Aoyama jumps on top and they handcuff 13, passing the exam. So we get to see Ochiko use those martial arts that she learned from Gunhead and put it into practice. It's pretty cool. Then we move on to a weird one with Kaminari and Ashido versus Principal Nezu. Now, I wasn't entirely sure what this was going to entail because Nezu doesn't really look like a fighter, but no, he's a bit of a sadistic son of a bitch. Like, Nezu is ridiculously OP because he can literally predict everything that's going to happen before it even happens. Yeah, he's one of those characters. And unfortunately, he leaves Ashido and Kaminari in a complete confusal and ends up absolutely embarrassing them because they don't even see the principal because he's high up somewhere in this area in a crane just knocking everything down. So they don't even get to see the principal before they fail. And then that's the end. That's literally it. So, yeah, disappointing that they were embarrassed like that, but that just shows how capable Nezu is as an actual combatant, even though he is a principal. Then we move on to Jiro and Koda versus President Mike. And this is the slowest battle of the entire episode, because it's not really a battle, it's more just them trying to find a way to win without their eardrums exploding. Because you have President Mike just camping at the escape gate and just unleashing giant sound waves right at them. So. Sorry about that. My pigs are being extra antsy today, and I don't know why. Anyway. So, President Mike keeps blowing his loud voice into their ears, and Koda is obviously the silent type up to this point, and he doesn't talk, so. Then Jiro comes up with the idea of using his power to talk to bugs. But he's deathly afraid of them, and her eardrums are starting to bleed. So, when he sees that's the only way to win, he overcomes his fear, talks for the first time in the entire show, and uses the bugs to freak out President Mike enough that he gives up and lets them escape, allowing them to complete the exam. And then finally we get to the main one of the episode, right? Oh wait, no, afterwards, there's one more. Next up, we have Shoji and Hagakure versus Snipe, where they're faced off in a large corridor filled with pillars and smoke grenades. So, Shoji moves away but notices that Hagakure has stripped off all her clothes because she's literally invisible. Realizing her plan, Shoji draws Snipe's attention and gets caught. This gives Kagakure the opening to handcuff him. And right before he handcuffs her, he accidentally puts his elbow right in her boob. Sorry about that. Phone decided to have an issue. Whatever. Anyway, we're up to Mineta and Sero versus Midnight. So, let's see, where does it start? Starts with Mineta running away from Midnight, screaming about how his matchup is totally unfair. Sero has been subdued by Midnight's quirk after saving Mineta at the start of the battle. Recovery Girl mentions that UA might not be the right place for Mineta because he doesn't have any long-time goals. Mineta eventually stops running and recalls wanting to become a hero to impress ladies. I mean, at least they gave a reason. Credit to the writers, they at least tried. Midnight then pursues Mineta, forcing him to continue fleeing. He remembers realizing after the USJ attack that heroes are heroes because of their actions. Midnight believes that she has Mineta cornered, but he reveals that he was a fan of her and knows a way to defeat her. He states he put on a scared act to draw her away from the escape gate and reveal himself with Sero's tape wrapped around his mouth to nullify Midnight's quirk. Then she tries to whip him, but Mineta counters with his special move, Grape Rush, where he literally just throws a bunch of balls and sticks her to the ground. That's it. Then he uses his quirk to stick Midnight in a whip to the ground far away, and then he picks up Sero, and the two of them get through the gate, ensuring victory. So, yeah, that's the reason why Mineta came to UA, because he wants to impress girls. That's literally it. I mean, at least they tried to explain it, but still, not a fan of his character. He's pretty boring. Then Ochiko motions to tell Midoriya it is his turn now, but he's already left the room. He arrives at the stage where his exam will take place, and finds Bakugo waiting there. They don't exchange any words as their battle against All Might approaches. And that is where this episode ends, because the next episode is so geek that they just could not put it into one giant two-parter. Whatever. So, that's the episode. It's pretty great. There are a lot of battles, and it does give some explanation to why Mineta is the way he is. So, before my phone crashes again, let's go ahead and get to the final thoughts, shall we? The penultimate episode, the final exams arc, with almost every single remaining battle being shown. And it's a pretty great episode because of being so jam-packed with action, as well as some pretty excellent character development. From Ayama revealing the first hints of Ochiko crushing on Deku, Ashido and Kaminari getting outsmarted and embarrassed by Principal Nezu, Koda overcoming his fear of bugs to save Jiro from President Mike, Snide hilariously bumping into Hagakure's boobs accidentally after being apprehended by her and Shoji, and of course, Mineta's odd but surprisingly satisfactory confrontation against Midnight, and what made him want to become a hero, saving an unconscious Sero in the process. Sure, the pacing could be better, but the best is still yet to come. This is yet another great episode of the arc. Leave it at that. If it weren't for Mineta still being a perv and a boring character, even with that explanation, this episode would probably be higher. As it is, though, final verdict. Okay, my thing here says a 9, but now that I'm thinking about it, it probably doesn't deserve a 9. I'll give it an 8. 8 out of 10 for this episode. I still think it's great. I still think it's really well done. And, well, best is yet to come. Best being the next episode, because in the words of my good friend Clayton Martin, whenever there is origin in the title, expect peak. And that's what we're going to get next time with Katsuki Bakugo Origin. And it's just as amazing, if not even more amazing, than Todoroki's. So, yep, see you next time for the final battle of the final exams arc. Sorry for the stuttering and technical difficulties, my phone decided to have a spasm, and I'm just having an inability to speak English today. Sorry about that. I should be better next time, though. See you in the next review.
Fighting for what comes up ahead. Hey, Shenron.